this bad boy off. It's going to be fun. All right. Good morning, everybody. We're going to talk about adding YouTube to your arsenal of branding. I will tell you that I've been up early on this. I've been thinking about this for a couple of days, and I wanted to piggyback. Now, for everybody that's on right now, I'm going to give you just a heads up, a 10,000 foot overview of this. Below the document that we have that's in the chat, it's called Building a YouTube Channel. Below that is a step-by-step 3 long video tutorials from Jaime Resendez, who is probably one of the best YouTube people I know. And this is a short version of what is a very long and a very detailed class. So all of the questions you have that I probably can't answer at the highest level, Jaime can answer them right below. And I think you're going to find this to be kind of something that may be pretty interesting for you. I'm going to real quickly share over what we're going to be talking about today. So bear with me and let's see if I can get my sharing mojo working. All right, so this is the itinerary, the purpose of the YouTube channel, your particular YouTube channel, some of the missions, creating a channel, creating playlists, all the tools you'll need to do anything with YouTube is right here, and they all have Amazon links for you. So you can very quickly, very easily add these tools and then purchase them should you want to. We're going to talk about Facebook integration, and as I spoke of in a moment or previously, you're going to notice that there is an entire itinerary. Can you all see this? Maybe we can thumbs up if everybody can see it's a Word document. Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Titling videos, something catching. I mean, all of the deep dives are in there. And our job today isn't going to go into the deep dive. Our job today is to give you an idea and have you start to think, have you start to say, wow, can I add this to my arsenal? Can I, boy, you're going to hear this from me again and again. If I put this on my schedule and blocked off an hour or two a week, let's say Tuesdays at 1 o'clock was my slotted time. That's what I was doing this, or 11 o'clock. And the reason I do it in the middle of the day, this is important. A lot of creating a YouTube channel for what we're going to use it for the real estate industry. There's very specific purposes to why we do it, but a lot of that's going to be involved with other businesses around there. If you're going to be a local expert somewhere, part of being a local expert, not just in the real estate industry, because that's not all, everybody, people don't buy homes just because they want to buy a home. They buy homes because of the area. So why wouldn't we capitalize in the area? Deep, I'm going to call you out on this one because you've done this a couple of times with Achilles particularly. And if you don't mind, so Deep has done some interviewing with some of the local businesses in here. Now, Achilles owns an Italian restaurant in the Dr. Phillips area that is extraordinary. It's one of my favorite restaurants, and it's great. Deep did an interview with him. Deep, I believe that was your first interview. Is that correct?
Yep, it was. It was pretty horrible.
See, I thought it was really good. I looked for it, but I couldn't find it. I was going to pull it up and use it as an example. So if you don't mind, let me ask you some questions. Were you nervous when you first did this?
110%. It was my first video I was doing. It was right when COVID happened. I think we had one of those conversations in our masterminds, how to promote within, promote local. And only thing I could think of was one person. It was directly how it's impacted his business. We were, I think, 4 or 5 months into COVID.
Okay, awesome. And the interview process, because I watched that interview, you said that you were very nervous, but it didn't show up for us as nervous. It didn't show up as anything except very smooth. And it was a really good interview, and it showcased his business as well. Fair?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I'm looking in the Dr. Phillips area, and I'm going to be using Dr. Phillips because this is where I live, and Deep happens to live there as well. But if I'm using the Dr. Phillips area, which is not Orlando, because Orlando's got 4 million people in there, and it's not East Orlando, but I've kind of niched out an area where I want to be known. You'll see this, and it's going to be a reoccurring theme. And I want you to consider that for what you may or may not be hoping to do. I hope you consider doing this. Interviewing restaurants, interviewing local businesses, showcasing some really cool houses. We're going to jump in and show you what that looks like and what some other YouTube people have done. We get to actually critique them. We're going to use Lake Nona, which is another niche market, a smaller community within the area. We're going to try and find out who's the local expert And then I want you guys to consider if you're searching, and everybody goes to YouTube. Besides Google, YouTube is the next place everybody goes. That's just how that works. It is what it is. And they're looking for content. They're looking for information. They're usually looking for answers or solutions. What are some great restaurants around the Dr. Phillips area? Best restaurants in Dr. Phillips, best schools in Dr. Phillips, school ratings in Dr. Phillips. How do they measure? Do you see the broad spectrum of things you can do a YouTube video on that all focus back? Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to it. Deep, any advice for anybody doing a first video to help calm the fears besides scotch or tequila?
That was my thing going forward. Scotch only, no tequila.
Scotch only. Okay.
Yeah, or just try to practice it. Just think as if the camera doesn't exist, because I have the same issue everybody does. I'm only getting better at this. I'm doing more Instagram now, so it's making it much easier. But it's always the nerves. Don't overthink it. Just to give you an idea, that video was posted by me, then it was posted by Fresco, the Italian restaurant, then it was posted by the family members on Facebook. I think that video gave me like pretty close to a total of maybe 1,000 views, 10,000 views, sorry.
Wow, 10,000 views, because you engaged the local business. So why, of course, wouldn't they put it out there? And of course they did, because it showcases them. And that's part of the idea of it as well. Consider that if we're doing something that helps somebody achieve their goals, we promote a business that's in the local market. That actually helps us. Zig Ziglar said it. If you want to get everything you want, help other people get what they want. Well, this is part of that. It's supporting the community, and very, very quickly. Now, when I say quickly in real time quickly is, let's say 6 months with you being on point, and it has to be on the schedule so it gets done. Show of hands from the people I can see. Would everybody here agree that one of their main demons is consistency and lack of it in what they're doing? Is that a fair statement from everybody? Okay, so that's going to be our burden. And all it means is that you're human, because I run into that. Most everybody does. There are a few elite people who are consistent in everything. I ain't one of them. So it has to be on my schedule, and I have to know ahead of time that I'm going to be doing it. Great example. I have something that's due on Thursday for our Thursday morning calls, which is very private. That's just for our group. For a Thursday morning call, I have something that's due that I have to create, and it starts reminding me 2 days ahead of time what it is I have to do. My schedule tells me that 3 days from now or 2 days from now, I have something due on Thursday. Do you have triggers that make sure you're accountable to what you're doing? That's an entirely different conversation, but I think it's going to be critical if you decide this is where you want to go to, and this is where you want to get started if you're going to start YouTube. All right, so let's jump into it. What's the purpose of the YouTube channel? First off, it's brand awareness, and you are the brand. It is you that is the brand. You are the person that we're trying to create these relationships. Does anybody here have a favorite news anchor? Just show their hands. A favorite news anchor, somebody that you watch on news that you really relate to them, local news. And if you saw them, you'd be like, oh my God, I love you. You're awesome. That's terrific. Is that a fair statement? You think about this. Laura, you raised your hand on that one, but you've got a local anchor that you've created, the relationship's been created, I'm assuming. And if you saw them, you would have a warmer feeling with them as opposed to the person standing next to them. You feel like you already know them. Is that fair? Awesome. Thank you very much. I did a little bit of TV marketing back in 2007 and 8, and people would call in and they'd be like, and because they would never speak to me, they would speak to one of my business partners who was just amazing. And there would be comments that are very, very similar to, I just love George. And they've never met me. Now, my wife would experience the same thing. She actually was an anchor on local news here on a couple different channels, and people would come up to her and say, "Oh my God, you're my favorite. I just love you. You're awesome." They feel like there's a relationship created because they've been exposed to them. Has anybody in here heard that it takes 8 attempts on average to get the sale? That you have to ask 8 times, or you have to be engaged with somebody 8 times for them to be receptive? The reason for that is we're just chatter, we're just noise until we become redundant, or until there's a redundancy in our exposure to them. Redundancy is the wrong word. But does that make sense? The more they see us, the more a relationship is created. And thank you very much. Lori just kind of validated that. She's got her favorite news person. I've been on the receiving end of that. My wife has all the time. YouTube gives us the ability for a certain amount of celebrity. So what we want to do is we're creating brand awareness. We're also there's also a relationship being created here, which is what we just spoke of. It creates you as the local expert too. Now, it's not just about real estate. Now, think about this. For all of us that are that have entertained the idea of moving, or even just put it on one of the people that you've spoken to in the past, that's one of your clients. It's not just the house. It's the area, the location, and what's around it that's important. Everybody can probably agree to that. We have an area in our town. I'm not going to mention the name of it because I don't want to disparage it, but it's not the nicest area in the town. I probably wouldn't do a YouTube channel on there unless it was investor based, because it's just we've got some challenges with it. There's a little more crime than there should be, and they're working on it. The reason I say that, the reason I bring that up is we're trying to create a relationship about something that's a very big positive. So what are you going to do in your YouTube channel? What is it going to look like? We're going to cover that in just a couple minutes. Now, one of the things I put down on here that I wanted to cover is scheduling. We just touched on that. If you're going to do this, you're going to need to know your tools. I'm going to give those to you in just a couple seconds, but you're also going to need to have it on your schedule. And I am here to tell you, the first video you do is going to be the hardest. It will be awful. You will be stressed. Now, here's the question I want you to ask yourself. Are you willing to push your way through it, or are you going to let it beat you? Are you going to push your way through it, or are you going to let it beat you? Now, very, very important. Every one of you is more critical of yourself than anybody else will be. Just do it. Maybe your first video is a tour of a house in the area where you're literally, follow me on this tour. This is an amazing home. It's something that just came on the market. This is something you would normally expect to see in the Dr. Phillips area. I'll give you all the stats and the cost of the house when the video's over. By the way, remember this when you're doing it. And Jaime he covers this very much in what he's talking about. You want to make sure you invite them to please hit subscribe if you want updates on the newest things for the Dr. Phillips area, because that's what I'm focusing on. So I'm going to use that for mine. And also hit the like button. And if you like, put a comment in there. I promise you I'll answer them. These are real important. This gives you validity. It gives you strength. There's a little footnote in here just so that you guys can be aware of it, and it doesn't add up to a lot to start with, but over a couple of years and having enough people see you on YouTube, you can start to monetize this. And it may just be $100 or $200 a month, but it can grow and it can continue to. You're going to find that you may find this to be a lot of fun, but always 2 lead generation sources. If this is going to be the third you're adding on, it shouldn't take more than an hour or 2 over the course of a week. Get used to it. Build a local channel first. Okay. So as I said, we want to make sure that your schedule is there. Creating a YouTube channel. I'm going to press play on this one because I actually made a screencast for you. Let's see if I can make this work. I want you to see what's involved in this. This is in the document that's being dropped in here, building a YouTube channel. Robert, I'm assuming you got it working again. Is that correct, sir? I'm sure he did. He doesn't miss a thing. All right. This short tutorial is how to create a channel. Easy. You just go to where your settings are in the upper hand at this point, and then simply go to switch accounts, view all your channels, and here you can create a channel. So I'm going to create one that is conducive to what we're talking about. I'm going to call it the Best Dr. Phillips, and that's where I live, and then I will create. Now, the reason I did this is it ties directly into my Facebook account, which is the Best of Dr. Phillips as well. And at this point, I'm all set. The customization, we're going to let Jaime go into because he handles it much better. Just wanted to give you a quick overview of how to create a channel. It's very simple. Now, inside of a channel, you can have different playlists. Now, these playlists are kind of important because a playlist may be Dr. Phillips schools, Dr. Phillips businesses, Dr. Phillips restaurants, Dr. Phillips homes, the type of homes available in Dr. Phillips. You can create a playlist inside of your channel, and here's a short tutorial on how to do so. On my channel, the Best of the Dr. Phillips, and I'm clicking on this channel. When I'm in here, I'm going to click on playlists. I'm going to click on customize channel. Excuse me. And once this populates open, you'll see where we're at. I'm going to go back to the playlist, and you'll notice that at this point, I'll close that. I don't have any playlists, so I'm going to click on new playlist, and then I'm going to add a title to this one, and I'm going to say Dr. Phillips
restaurants.
Don't know where I'm typing.
If I knew how to type. As I've typed in here, the visibility is public, and then I'm going to click on create at this point. So it's going to create a channel for me. And this is where, or this is my playlist. Now, I may actually have in this channel, I'm going to have more than one playlist. I'd have Dr. Phillips restaurants. I'd have some featured homes. I'd have search the areas where I can.
Okay, so you get the idea behind creating a channel and then creating a playlist, and the instructions on how to do so at a high level are right here on the very top part of this document, which is available for everybody. Pull it down. Joe, please make sure we tag this and we save this in Workplace so everybody has access to it if they don't get it. This is very, very easy to create a channel and then shooting a video, uploading one. I'm not going to go into the boring details of that because it's so simple to do. You just have to say, I'm going to do it. Now, we're going to cover in just a couple seconds some tools, but I wanted to show you something that I thought was very, very important. And this is called rapid tags. Now, I'm going to share this one more time. You'll see where it says right here, rapid tags. Can you see that, Joe, where I'm pointing at that with my mouse on rapid tags? Awesome. So rapid tags is a generator that I think I don't know, like dirt cheap. In rapid tags, what you do is you type in what would be the title of your particular video. And titles are very important. Now, Jaime covers all of that. When you're digging into it, you want to go a little deeper, definitely jump down to Jaime's classes because they're phenomenal. They're at the bottom part of here. But let's say I type in best restaurants in Dr. Phillips. Best restaurants in Orlando, Dr. Phillips restaurants. Best restaurants, Dr. Phillips Italian restaurants in Orlando. Restaurants. These are my meta tags. These are phenomenal. I'm going to copy these and I'm going to incorporate these into what I'm going to build or into my into the description of that particular YouTube video that I'm creating. In fact, this is the best restaurants in Dr. Phillips is going to be the title, but I'm going to add, these are some of the best restaurants in the Dr. Phillips and Orlando area. So I'm going to pull other words that are in this key search and try and incorporate them as much I can into my title. And I want to use, this is real important, any one of these or all the words I possibly can in my first my first two sentences, I would like to incorporate it in articulately as much of the words that are in that identifier in the first couple of lines, because that's where YouTube spends their most time searching. They'll search for relevance in the title, and then they'll search for relevance in the first couple of lines of your YouTube description. So I'm obviously going to tag these and copy these into the bottom of my YouTube description, but I'm absolutely going to use those in my description as well. Let's talk about some tools. Let's say, you know what? I'm interested in doing this. I want to make this happen. I have, if anybody has seen these are the Rode mic. Now they are. These are the Rode Mini microphones. They are fantastic. In fact, they're so good, I created a link for you because I wanted everybody to make sure they had a copy of this. Under your tools, you're going to see the mic, the Rhodes wireless mic. If you click on this, I made it an Amazon link so everybody could get to it. This is a triple mic, so you can use this for interviewing. In fact, you can give this to a person. Here's the mic I have. For all of you that can see it, I've got my tiny little mic. This actually clips right on my lapel like this. Or if I'm uncomfortable with that, I can get what's called a lavalier, I think they're called. That's this fuzzy little ball thing. It plugs right in. And now this can clip on there. So these mics can adapt to, they can fly solo like this. And these are the microphones we're speaking of right over here. So this one in the middle, the one with the lines to it, that's the main receiver. These are both satellite microphones that you can have one on you and one on whoever you're speaking to. Or if you want to, you can also get one of these for interview purposes. And now this is a microphone. Y'all see me drop this all the time. I don't do it with a mic in there. That is a mic. The mic's in there. I can do a proper interview back and forth with this. This is all part of the Rhodes system. The Rhodes system, in my opinion, is phenomenal, but I wanted to show you something that you're going to need. I'll get back to the light kit in just a second. So there's an adapter for the Rhodes kit. And it's a 2 for 3 is the only way for me to describe it. This is really important. See how this has 2 prongs on it right here? Okay, that's standard. But when we're taking it from our iPhone, we need to have 3. Now, I record, I'm going to jump back on this one again. I record off of the Rode, this little box, these 2 that I have right here. I'll record off of these. And I have my microphone that goes into this. And this is the one that I hang and I wear, and this is my recording. There's also this one. This is the master. This is where everything comes into. So I record off of this one. And if I have 2 of them, I'd have 2 of these, one for myself, one for somebody else. That's the ones that I have that I showcase for you. You can also order a single. I would advise you to get a double. They are $200, but it's worth it. Everything comes into this. Okay, so what I could do is first, I have an iPhone and I'm going to be plugging all of this into my iPhone. So I've got this adapter that is listed there as well. It allows for the plug to go in and it plugs in the back of my iPhone. That's terrific. Everything is coming out of this. However, when this comes out, it comes out with 2 prongs. Or 2, there's 2 lines on this. As you can see it, there's 2 lines on one side of it. And this one has 3 lines on it. At least I hope so, because I'm blind as a bat. It has 3 lines on it as well. Very, very important. The 2 line goes into the adapter itself. The 3 lines adapter on here plugs into your phone. If you don't do it this way, it won't work. Now, this is a $9 piece right here. That's all this is. It's $9 for this little thing right here, and it's on the screen for you. You can see it, $9.99. You need this adapter and this adapter for these to function properly. Once they do, if you've got a different kind of phone than an iPhone, whatever the adapter is, but remember, the triple has to go into the phone. The phone is then recording your video and now your audio, and your audio for your phone is going through this directly into your phone. So you've got perfect audio throughout. And the easiest way to do it is to set your phone down and then turn it on, get it all set up, walk around your room and talk for a couple minutes and see if the audio is the same. You'll know it's working for you. It takes a few minutes to set it up. Once it's set up, you're good to go. And I'm not sharing the screen, am I? Damn it. This is the adapter I was speaking of that I think is so important for y'all to have. You can't do it without it. And that's the triple I was referring to. That goes into the iPhone. This comes out of the actual software that we're using. Now, the iPhone adapter is in here as well, and I brought that up for everybody. This is what they look like, and they just plug into an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, you have a Samsung, you're fine. Last thing you may want to consider getting is a light kit. They look like this. They're $26.99, and they can be at your house tomorrow if you order enough stuff from Amazon. Amazon, we're on a first name basis with them. This light kit is great when you're doing a testimonial about an area. Now, one of the things that comes up all the time is, how do I edit the video? What do I do with editing and all that good stuff? Well, if you're going to edit a video, you can do it yourself. I have an iPad or a Mac, so I use iMovies is what I edit for. There are softwares out there everywhere to do so. Now, what you're doing is you're bringing in a raw video clip. Remember, audio and video is in here on your phone, and you're bringing it into your computer. That's easiest to edit. You can edit from your phone as well. It works perfectly okay. I'm just not that talented. My eyes aren't that good. I prefer to do it on my computer. I can drop in whatever I want. At some point, very quickly, you're going to want somebody to do it for you. You're going to need to create a thumbnail. And we're going to dive into what this looks like in an area to get a feel for what this looks like as well. But you want to consider that you may at some point want to have somebody start doing your thumbnails, start doing your editing for you. Fiverr is a great place at which to do that. Your titles, you're going to have to make your own titles. This is actually, if you're not sure where it is and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to make sure I come back to it. You'll see right under the YouTube channel, it says titles, thumbnails, and editing. Fiverr is where to go. And I did cover this. I'm going to go over the YouTube or the Facebook portion in just a little bit. So now we've got the tools. We know why this makes sense to do so. I forgot to mention one important thing. By doing this with local businesses, you become somebody supporting them, and then they start supporting you. This is a reciprocity dream because you're showcasing their business, which ultimately helps you in your awareness, but it also helps them. So now they're obligated by sheer reciprocity. That's the law of if somebody does something for you, you do something for them. They're obligated to do something for you in return. Now, are they going to do it every time? I don't know. Of course not. Chances are no, of course they won't. But they're going to be engaged with you at a higher level. I promise you, going out to dinners and having things happening in the community that have to do with them are phenomenal. If you're doing a big open house, it sure is nice that you showcased them to come back and say, hey, I want to showcase you again in an open house. Can I get a gift certificate for $50? Chances are they're going to say, yeah, absolutely they are. In fact, Achilles, who Deep did the interview with, did the same thing when I asked him for it. I said, you're my favorite restaurant. Will you help? He goes, I'd love to. So now we've created this channel. We've created this channel on YouTube, but let's start looking at what this looks like and what's YouTube look like as a whole. So let's see. I've got this saved. I think everybody can see it. This is the Best of Dr. Phillips channel. And there's nothing in here yet because I haven't done it. So what I'm going to do is I've pulled up and I've searched Lake Nona, Orlando. I've also searched Dr. Phillips, but Lake Nona, Orlando tend to have a little more relevance to what I was getting at. So I thought this would make sense. I'm just doing a raw search. I want to see what's out there. I'm not even worried about the filters at this point. So let's see what we got. Ken Pozak. Bunch of different people in here. Another Ken Pozak. Okay. There's Ken Pozak again. He had 12,000 views on Lake Nona's new Disney campus. He had 12,000 views on this because it's relevant to people that are searching it. And it says Lake Nona's right there in the title, which is a great title. It focuses on what we've got. So as you go on through this, you're starting to see there's Ken Pozak again. Ken has said, I'm going to make Lake Nona my area where I'm the local expert. Now, I found another one in here, Simon Simone. Simon's a very good friend of mine, so I wanted to click on this one, and I did just to show you what that looks like. Now we're at Simon's channel, and I happen to like this one. His thumbnail is Why Move to Orlando? Okay, I personally believe that's a little bit broad, but let's take a look at what this looks like.
Hey, all you Simonites, it's Simon Simon, owner.
So Simon, as I said, is in Orlando, but this is in Lake Nona. In fact, he's in a very well-known area of Lake Nona called Boxy Park. And he's done his video here. What is most important is his thumbnail is a very critical part. He's had 91 likes. He has 920 subscribers to his channel. If you want to go dig deep and start seeing what channels look like, this is a great way at which to do so. It gets you into what's happening. Now at this point, we're looking at Lake Nona. And we're really focusing in on that one. Ken Pozak has a pretty good market share of Lake Nona based on what I'm seeing, because he tends to be here more than most. By looking into the YouTube channels that are currently out there, it's going to give you an idea of what can and what won't work, or what is working, and perhaps something you want to try a little bit differently. When we're talking about Ken Pozak and Lake Nona, because his focus, and we put in Lake Nona, Orlando, is Lake Nona, we obviously want to have that in the title if that's what we're speaking of. For me, it would be Dr. Phillips if I'm doing that. So my channel is called The Best of Dr. Phillips. That's the channel that we have. But this is the part I wanted to show you that might be a little unusual for everybody. Did you know that I can actually create a page called The Best of Dr. Phillips as well? And I can create that page in a social media platform called Facebook. And in doing so, hopefully this isn't too indecent. Where's my pages? Okay, well, anybody that was intelligent enough and more intelligent than I would, they'd figure out how to do it. There is a page I have in here, and I can't figure out how to find my pages, so I'm just going to pretend that I know what I'm doing, that is called The Best of Dr. Phillips. And the reason I say that is if I'm going to post a video on YouTube, it's from my phone. This is called raw. It's authentic. and it's not coming from a different platform. YouTube and Facebook don't like each other, but YouTube and Facebook don't realize that the same video I shot that is now uploaded into a YouTube video can be uploaded to Facebook, and Facebook won't recognize that it's actually something that's exactly the same on YouTube. If I uploaded a YouTube video into Facebook, they would recognize it, and my search would be substantially less. Now, why wouldn't you start duplicating what you're doing with a simple upload click to a Facebook page about the area, as well as a YouTube page that is focused on there as well? In this entire thing that we have that is now available for you, you all have it, and it's been around for a while. It's building your YouTube channel. Please download that. We're going to save it as well. There are step-by-steps of everything. Update your channel banner, complete your YouTube about section, video title or title video something catchy and searchable, draft points to cover in a video, record using your phone, edit video. This is all stuff what he dives deep into. I wanted to give you first and foremost the vision that you can do this on the cheap. Quite honestly, it's no more than, for everything we've just talked about, it'd be less than $300. Now that seems like a lot of money, but when you consider one real estate sale, far, far outweighs the cost of that. The challenge is, and this is for everybody watching right now, if this is something you want to do, will you go out and do it? Is it something you'll push yourself past the first one? Deep, that first one was a challenge for you. I'm going to call on you again one more time. Was the second one substantially easier?
Much easier. Everybody can go pull me up and George up. You can find me on Instagram. Even the Instagram videos that we started putting out there, it's all about information. I'm not showing any of the houses. My intention is showing 0 houses. My intention is coming back with knowledge, letting other agents who have no clue look at it. Buyers out there, look at it. It's very crucial. It's not about you. It's about them.
Thank you. That is exactly what I was hoping to hear, and that was perfect. Guys, I saw one before, and I didn't save it, and I should have, because I thought it was really interesting. It was about Lake Nona, and it was an Oriental lady. It's the only way to describe her. And the reason I know that is that it had the English search or Lake Nona information, but everything else was in Japanese or Chinese or Korean, or I don't know. I'm not sure of her ethnicity. I don't know where she was from. But what I can tell you is that is a niche market. Now, I always go back to Stael, as I said, because she's an incredibly close friend of the family. Stael is Portuguese. Wouldn't something, if y'all think about this, if you have that niche market, wouldn't it be amazing to do videos in Portuguese for a niche market moving to the Orlando area? Now, you've minimized your niche market so you can maximize your area. You can't maximize your area in your market, or you just get dissolved in there. I'm about as wonder bread as you can possibly get. So I've got to really bring mine down. I don't bring anything special to the table. I'm just some dude named George. So I want to focus on Dr. Phillips. That's the showcase. But if I spoke Portuguese, I would be trying to focus on the Portuguese market. And now I'm going to talk about the benefits of Orlando as a whole and our shopping, which is mission critical. And I'd start showcasing some of these. Now, Deep brought in something that was important as well. Wouldn't this be a spectacular platform to talk to people about different aspects of the real estate purchase, perhaps a forecast of what's to come? Now, that's when you're going to bring your light thing in here, and you're going to make a video that is a real estate related video about the coming market, the change in the market, what's happening with the interest rates, new laws about taxes, homesteading your property, and why does that make sense in Florida? There's so many different things you can discuss and put out there. And it's not just one thing like show houses. This is a house, this is a house, this is a house, because that gets boring. We need a rounded content. And I challenge you guys to consider, what does that content look like? I have a list on my phone, and I own this. I've been wanting to do this for what, Tiffany, at least a year. We've talked about YouTube forever and ever, and I am as guilty as the next in getting my fat butt started. But if it's on my schedule, I'm going to get it done and I'm going to push myself to it. Maybe you got to tell a couple people. And if you're going to go and do an interview with somebody, that's terrific. If you're going to go and do one that's a live shoot, that's terrific. By the way, these microphones also come with little fuzzy rats that you can put on top for wind buffering. And if you're going to use the lavalier, which is this thing, it usually has a wind buffer on it as well. So go shoot stuff outside. Go shoot a video outdoors. Talk about a particular area if you have to. Stand on the corner, and you can use this light stand and just set it up and press play, step back, and start talking. You don't even need somebody to be there with you. Okay, check on this though, and this is important. That light stand, it only goes up to, I think, 4 feet tall. That's a little bit low for what I'm looking for. You may want to get one that's a higher one that go up to 6 feet so that you can have it at about eye level when you're shooting. But guys, everything in here is self-sustaining. And here's a little high-level tip. I don't know if you can see these. These are little Velcro sticky things. I stick one to the back of my master, and then I actually stick it right to the back of my phone, and it all sits right there. So it's all handheld. There's nothing needs to be done. I am ready to go with this thing at any given time. You can do this. Is this a revolutionary way to get business? Actually, yeah, it kind of is. So let's go into John Leland. John Whelan is a great friend of ours. Had some serious back problems, but I think he's coming through, which is awesome. I want you to consider that he spent about 6 months doing this, and people started calling him saying, "Hey, John, we are very, very interested in buying a home in the Delray Beach area," because he's the expert. He created an expertise on YouTube, and it was one video a week for about 6 months, and it was all over the place. It wasn't just homes, but it was. And it wasn't just restaurants, but they were in there too. And people started calling him, and his question, I love this question because it's the right question, is, are you working with another agent? Like, no, we want to work with you. And I remember him saying it was kind of weird, George. It was like they already knew who I was. It was like we were already in relationship. You're going to hear that. You know, it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be something you can force feed. However, I will tell you, if you want to accelerate this, the minimum one would be going to 2 videos per week. Maybe you shoot one on Tuesday, you shoot one on Friday. Those are your minimums. Maybe one of them is an exterior and one of them is you giving real estate information back about the local area or about schools, Dr. Phillips schools and their ratings. Oh, heck yes. That is a mission critical YouTube video I would have to see. And the funny thing is, I'd want it updated for 2023 and 2024. It's an ongoing one. Now, when you're shooting these, please remember, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. And most importantly, if you have any comments, feel free to leave them. I promise you, I will get back to you with an answer on those instantly. Why wouldn't we do this to create what John has created, which is people calling him, knowing him, in relationship with him, wanting to buy in the area, and quite honestly, wanting to sell, because he has become relevant to them by providing content that is valuable. They're interested in Dr. Phillips. That's a valuable content grab for them. This takes planning. This takes commitment. And I'm going to challenge you to find somebody that's on the call right now. And if you're interested in doing it, just so throw in the chat, say, I'm interested, I'm in. If you want to do this, get somebody as an accountability partner. Just drop it in the chat so anybody can see it if they want to. And you all share with each other, I want to do this. Okay, so what does it look like? It means you're probably going to have to order some stuff. And unfortunately, I'm sorry to say this, it's going to come with a $300 price tag. Let's just be very clear on that one. I truly believe you can use it over and over again. This thing goes with me everywhere. This is my entire microphone kit in this little box right here. Everything I need. The box isn't from there. I was actually doing keto, so it's a ketone box, but that's what I put everything in, and it works extremely well. My lavaliers and everything are right in there, and it's a little bit of an investment. The thing is, though, what are you going to do? Are you going to go and do the hard part, which is interview a local business for your YouTube channel, which is all about the local community? Most of us have specific community areas in our overall city we live in. Orlando, I'm in Orlando, so there's a ton of them here. But if you go to Charlotte, there's different places in Charlotte, different smaller communities within there. That's your focus. Get a little more granular, be the expert there. You can branch out. Folks, there, your front page on your channel, Nancy, on what, my YouTube channel? Nancy just asked a question. I'm not sure what it was. I want to make sure I get it right. Patricia Diaz and Andre, you all need to speak on my YouTube channel. Either I did or Joe did. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I followed with Jaime. It's been a while since I've really focused on there. We do have one YouTube channel. Joe, do me a favor, drop in our YouTube channel, the one that we use all the time for all of our good information. This is where all of our classes are recorded. I would like to ask everybody here, Joe's going to drop the link in for that. I think it's actually in there right now. He just dropped it in. If y'all will click on there and please subscribe to that channel, I would greatly appreciate it. By the way, if I'm doing a channel on Dr. Phillips, again, going back to what I'd say, here's my last little nugget, then we're going to open it up for conversations. I'm going to send this out. So there's a channel that focuses on our neighborhood, or that focuses on Dr. Phillips. Please take a moment, take a quick glance. And if you wouldn't mind, like, subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. I will send that to every single person I've ever met or I know. It's a one-time, one-off, and what I'm looking for is I'd like to have, sooner rather than later, as many subscribers as we can. I think we have 144 subscribers to the YouTube channel that Joe just put in the link, which is right there, the GPS Global Partners. By the way, all of these classes are in there. That's the whole purpose of it. All of these classes are in there. If there's one you like, it will be in there. Like this class will be in there later today by about 11 o'clock. It's now a YouTube video. You can keep it, share it, send it, give it, pass it on to somebody. So this is great. You got to watch this, and it's available for them. That's the purpose of it, so that we can make sure everybody has access to these. But I want you guys to subscribe to that. Does that make sense? Is that resonating on, this is not rocket science. It just takes a little bit of effort, and it is not something that's going to generate business for you, more likely than not, instantly. And that's okay too. As with most things in real estate, besides the things that are extremely challenging for a lot of people, prospecting, door knocking, I mean, really aggressive lead generation. This one takes time. Those are the prospecting, door knocking right now. Open houses right now. That's right now business you're working on.
George, can I jump in?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, a couple of things. First, the page George shared about Ken, who did Lake Nona. He's not only Lake Nona. If you Google, and one advice I can give you guys, if you know somebody famous who does this, show any kind of social media, it could be Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, follow them. You know why? Your audience is very different than theirs. You can copy, paste, duplicate, like what George says it all the time. You can follow my page, look at the thing. Will started doing, I keep on harassing Will weekly. This is his third week. He's just going to be putting his third video out, one a week. It's working. He has maybe 400 people or 500 people he follows. The first video had 2,600 views. So Instagram works very differently. Same thing with YouTube, same thing with Facebook. Take the thing out of your picture. How many people liked? How many people viewed? Keep on doing it for the next 6 months. That's all I can say. I'm going to be doing it. I've started it already. I'm not specifically going after a particular area. I'm going after educating. You know, what's the 3-step? What's my method for real estate? How do I buy this? I'm talking about mortgage. I'm talking about, but try to make it as quick, short as you can. Depends on the platform. YouTube likes longer videos. Instagram Reel is the biggest thing out there. The shorter the reel, better the view. Instagram shares it to people. Consistently you post, because they open up your world more, so more people can see you. Hashtag, 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 very crucial. And going back to Ken, I remember following him since 4 years ago on YouTube. He had around 2,000 people who were following him. Today is pretty close to 24,000 people. His team has grown to, I think, 12 or 14 people. He's not showing properties very rarely. All the leads are coming and knocking on his door. Like instead of door knocking, they're coming to him because they can relate to him. And he's putting out a lot of information. And if you follow him on YouTube or Instagram, he's traveling all over the country to teach what he's doing. Pretty much same thing, and everybody should just copy and duplicate. Simple.
He's also one of the top agents in the Lake Nona area. In his market center, he's with Keller Williams, and in his brokerage, I believe he's the top agent for the KW Market Center. Now that Kendrick, who was the top agent there, just left and joined EXP for obvious reasons. But guys, this is something you can do, and it is a matter of what is your content? Is it relevant? Is it important to somebody? And that's where your niche comes in. You're going to find that you'll be able to make it important. Will, love that you've gotten out there, you've gotten started. 2,400 views on your first one. Is that correct? Somewhere like that? That's huge. Huge. Are you using Insta or are you using YouTube?
I just posted it to Instagram Reels so far. So, I mean, for me, it's like I've talked to Deep about, what I don't understand, and I guess it'll just come after consistently doing it, is how do you get people to come to you? It's one thing to watch and consume, but then how do you convert that into conversations rather than just putting stuff out there? And I guess that just comes over time.
George, how is it any different than farming?
It's actually not. It's very much a part of a farming platform. If you're going to be farming a specific area, you should probably want to make some video about that specific area. So I live in a community of 400 homes called Cypress Landing. I can definitely do something very niche on Cypress Landing, but my market is very small. Cypress Landing happens to be in the Dr. Phillips area, so that's why I chose that. I got a little bit bigger without being Orlando proper. And that gives me the ability to really kind of dive in and be specific in what people are looking for, which is information about the Dr. Phillips area. That's my main mantra. I have to qualify this because I'm not sure, and I just want to be very transparent. I don't know a lot about Instagram, and I'm not on it at all, I don't think. And so I don't know how you convert with YouTube your conversations on the chats. And the fact that they'll reach out to you is mission critical. That's where the conversion comes from. As we were just talking about with Deep, they start knocking on your door and reaching out to you because they trust you. They're in relationship with you, and that's what we're creating. Don't lose sight of the fact that on your videos needs to be you. Okay. Now, all of us, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No. I'll let you finish.
I used to have a lot more hair. So now that I don't, and I'm losing my hair, I don't like how I look on video. But you know what? I'm the only one that gives a damn about it. And I need you guys to get that, especially that young man sitting on, that is just hysterical. Robert, I thought that was your young man was nodding his head. I didn't see you behind him. I'm like, that dude is focused. I love this. Nobody cares what you look like except for you. Do your best, doll up. Heck, I may wear a hat, but it doesn't matter. Just do it. It will start to make a difference. Plan on 6 months, but that's okay. Hey, here's a little trick. I'll give you guys a little insight. This real estate market, it's going to change, and it's probably going to change at the end of summer. That's my personal opinion. We're going to see a shift in the overall real estate market in the United States as a whole. Wouldn't it be a great idea to build into that change something that is going to help shore up or strengthen your lead generating through relationships? Because that's just about 6 months from now. All it takes is you to say, I'm going to do it, I'm going to get it done, and I make a commitment, and then share with somebody else and have them hold you accountable. Because if you put your mind to it, there's nothing you can't do. And we could have Style say that because she said it pretty well in her pulled off video, which I think is just hysterical. All right. This is how to get started very quickly. There is a lot more in here, and you'll find that in the second portions of it, which is the second portions of the syllabus, which is all about what to do. Now, all these points are covered on these drives right here. These are specific from Jaime, and he has shared them with me, and they cover everything in this. This is your guide to how to do this. Will you do it? I hope so. I really do. I think you can be amazing at it. I think it'll help your business, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. But it's going to take some time getting over that first hump. Let's open it up to any and all questions at this point. If you've got something, I'm going to check and go through the messages.
George, I'm gonna step in one more time if you don't mind.
Please do. And I want one more thing before you do.
Yeah, go
if
ahead.
you are in the Florida market and you are new with EXP, and particularly with the GPS Global Partners, you might want to consider jumping over and taking and joining the Florida State meeting, which is occurring in just a couple of minutes, followed very shortly by that as a Florida State orientation. I know we have a fair amount of population from Florida, so I wanted to get that out there. If you haven't taken the Florida orientation, it is an absolute must. Every state has one. You want to take those as well. Deep, all yours, sir.
So guys, going back to what a good, amazing class. I mean, normally this would cost you a couple of $1,000 to just do the tutorial what George just went by. First, second of all, find your niche. You want to be Facebook business page. You want to be on TikTok. I see Jessica on TikTok all the time. She's growing like crazy. She's putting really good information out there. It's all these platforms are no different than YouTube. They all have ways you can message people. They all have ways you can follow people. It all has ways you can contact people. So you just got to find your niche and be consistent. More videos you put out, follow other people, copy their videos. It's simple. It's the same thing. A lot of people been in the business 10, 20 years. You know what the real estate is all about. Talk about your experience. People want to connect with you. They really like what George said. Nobody cares what we look like besides ourselves. You know, I care. I don't like my way I'm talking. I have to start smiling in the video, because if you really follow me, I just put Will's hashtag in the chat. You guys should follow him and look at his 2 videos he put out. It's no cost to it. It was his phone and it was him. Simple.
By the way, something that's extremely authentic is we were going through, and so we're going to talk about this. And so what do you think about the pasta fajoule? And he's like, I don't make pasta fajoule. I said, well, I guess I'm going to have to edit that one out, because that was a kind of a screw up. I should know that he doesn't make pasta fajoule. Tell me about your favorite recipe. Leave it in. People like that. It's authentic. It's genuine, and it's engaging. Sometimes screwing up is the best thing you can possibly do. It's actually my secret. I'm the best screw-upper there is. Guys, you can do this. We can do this together. You've got the resources at your disposal. You want to follow somebody who's amazing? Follow Jaime. Dead serious. Follow Jaime. And here's why. He has everything from KV Core to using Facebook for marketing to what is, a different brokerage reason, how to create videos. He is incredibly talented at what is this platform, YouTube, and he's branching off into others. It's simply a matter of, will you make the effort and will it show up on your calendar? All right. Follow Deep. Thank you, Will. I appreciate that. Follow Deep at Orlando Properties Guru. And definitely Vasquez, because she's just on fire. She's taught these classes before. What questions do y'all have for us, guys? What questions do you have about this particular YouTube? Embrace the dome. Thanks, Andre. Awesome. I guess we covered it fairly well. Thank you for posting that in there. We got YouTube's Jaime's channels in there as well. Wonder if Jaime's on the phone. It's probably not. Joe posted that. Cool.
George, if I could ask her.
Whoa. Let's try that one more time. There may be 2 mics that are hot where you're sitting. Echo. Noise.
No, I don't have 2 mics.
Well, ask away. Let's see what's happening.
I have it on my phone. That's what it is. But even though the mic wasn't hot, it was picking it up.
Yep.
You had mentioned about the raw footage and something that lowers the algorithms. And I didn't quite catch all of what you were saying about that on the YouTube search. If you could just give a quick answer.
I'm actually not sure of the question to be able to answer it. The raw footage and lowering the algorithm. I don't know if I have anything to say on that.
You were talking about the phone, like doing the raw video from the phone. And then a few minutes later, you said doing X lowers the algorithm.
Okay, so let's say I shot a video and it was a great video and I put it up to YouTube. I can share that YouTube link into Facebook and Facebook will play YouTube. But Facebook knows that it's from YouTube and they don't like YouTube. So they're not going to give it any real show. It won't get, it'll get suppressed like so many things are being suppressed on YouTube already. Okay. And that's okay. It's just simply that YouTube's saying, or Facebook saying, we don't want a secondhand video from YouTube because remember, now we shot it on our phone. So you have the ability, Susan, you've got the video and the fully edited version on your phone that has not been up. This is the one prior to uploading to YouTube that'll also upload very easily to Facebook. And Facebook will only recognize that as a brand new, authentically new video. They don't search YouTube for the exact same thing. So you'll get a lot more presentation, a lot more show. Hence the reason having a Facebook channel and a YouTube channel that are fairly similar, you can really cross-pollinate very easily. Just don't take a Facebook link and put it in YouTube because they don't like that either, and vice versa. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Susan, going back to the same thing, it's with all the platforms. TikTok, if you share TikTok videos on Instagram, Instagram hates it because their logo shows there. And the reason why YouTube hates each other's links because you're taking the person off their platform.
Right.
They hate that. Yeah.
Thank you.
So who else is logged in as me? I see me and then I see me. Is that Tiffany? No, Joe's not. Are you logged in as me, Joe?
Nope.
No. Somebody else is logged in as me. I wonder if that's my wife. Maybe. If that is, hi, Jackie. All right. So a lot of good stuff in this, guys. If you want to do it, we can do it. You just got to say, I'm going to do it. And then get through it. Will, were you nervous on the first video you shot? Oh, yeah. I can imagine, my friend.
It's not necessarily shooting the video. It's the, when I go to post this, how are people gonna think about it? You know, so I mean, shooting the video is okay because it's still unpublic. You know, you're just shooting it. It's the prospect of getting it out in front of everybody that's really the nerve-wracking one. And you know what? Most people are kind, so it's not a big deal.
You know, that is such an important point, and the distinction you made is one that's worth bringing up again. You're probably going to run across as you become more successful having a troll or two. And that's cool. It is what it is. And remember, don't engage with them except say, you know, I appreciate your opinion or something like that. Whatever you choose to do, I trust you in this one. But it's part of the process. Any publicity is good publicity. If you run across that, get up with one of us and say, I just had the biggest jerk in the world. And then as a group, we'll go troll that son of a gun. Okay, but don't let it bother you. It will happen, I promise. And if so, we'll just go beat the ever-living shit out of them because that's what we do. We'll show up as a team. GPS, ever-living shit beaten out of your team, and we'll take them down. So we're good, right? Well, we got this.
Right. And
y'all don't want to see Claire pissed off.
Another thing that might help, I had a friend tell me one time, is just develop in your mind your like ideal client avatar, and every video you're just making that video for that person or that family, and and that just, it kind of takes the nerves out of it. I'm not making this for the city of Claremont. I'm making it for George and Jackie. You know, that's who I'm making it for. This is, you know, so it kind of, you know, when you're creating your content for a familiar audience of maybe one or two, that tends to take the nerves down a little bit.
I love the idea of that. I think that is brilliant. Folks, go out there and tell somebody you love them.
Hey,
Tell them they're
George,
important. They matter. Yes, ma'am.
we love the ever-loving shit out of you, buddy.
I love to hear that. Just makes my day. Thank you very much, Claire. I appreciate that. I almost made it through without any potty mouth, but I snuck in there. Seriously, go out there, tell somebody you love them. It's 9:33 and I've got work to do. This because I started 9:30. Tell them that they matter, that they're important, because you never know when it's exactly the right time for them, and they need to hear that. You may actually save a life, but either way, you're going to make a big difference in their life, and it'll make a big difference in yours. There's something very, very, very powerful in letting somebody know that they're valid, that they matter, that you care. And simply coming from the act of contribution, coming from the act of support, and from consideration for their well-being and who they are, that is a huge gift that only you can bestow. Nobody can force you to do it. I challenge you guys to do that. That is database 101, by the way. That is the secret to everything we should be doing. If we come from love and support, you'd be amazed what'll happen. Y'all have an amazing day. This syllabus is here for you. It'll be attached in Workplace as well, the GPS Global or GPS group in Workplace. It'll be in the files there too. And as it would be said, of course, it's going to be named exactly what it is. And I don't even remember the name of it. Building Your YouTube Channel. Everything, including Jaime's stuff, is in there too. Get on this. And most importantly, get it on your schedule. If it's on your calendar, it'll actually happen. Have an amazing day. Tiffany, I turn it over to you.